if I'm not mistaken, this is one of those streets.
Yes.
So that's when they start looking at, okay, what can we do for traffic calming? Everything from speed bumps to, one-way barriers, signage, that kind of thing. These studies have already been done. The comments that are coming back to the residents, and it's been identified that they need help with this. This has been identified and acknowledged by the administration at least once or twice before. Now they're coming back and saying, oh, and by the way, we need to do more studies. Well, the problem with these studies are, and in a number of very famous traffic engineering studies in larger cities have shown that when you shut down and we're not talking about an arterial road, we're not talking about shutting down Waverly Road, we're talking about shutting down just a neighborhood road. The fear is you're going to push all this traffic onto another road. Well, when they've done these studies to prove to the neighborhoods that if we shut this, all of that traffic's going to go somewhere else, well, they couldn't show the neighborhoods that the traffic went somewhere else. The traffic just didn't go there. So they said, oh, by the way, it's going to go one street over. Well, it didn't go there. Well, it was going to go 3 streets over. It didn't go there. And that's why there are a number of public planners now that call traffic engineering traffic voodoo, because there is no engineering in it. It's an art, it's not even a science. It's kind of, we think this is what's going to happen. It's a hit or miss. So that's another one of the things that makes it very frustrating for those of us who are in the policy-making world, because we know that we need something done, because we hear it, but yet we get the folks that are telling us, oh, well, we've done the studies and yes, you need it, and then turn around and be told, oh, we need to do more studies, even though we've already got the answers we already know about. So that's a bit of a problem.
As you can see, that it's just become a level of frustration, and I don't want any other neighborhood to ever have to go through this. I will continue to work with Woodmere. We will continue to have the combined discussions with Averill, because it does affect Averill on that exact premise that it's just going to get pushed down further into Averill. And again, if you have suggestions, I'll take the sign suggestion back again. We were told, well, we need to study that if you're going to put that back on the board. Well, we had already looked at that as an option, and that's why we went with just the right turn and the buffer being put in so that folks would only turn right in and only turn right out. And just a little, I don't know, not really an island, but a divert.
Chevron.
Yeah, a chevron. There you go. That would help, split the traffic, sorry. So we're just at that point where I need some suggestions. If you're talking to other neighbors and you say, this neighborhood's just really having a tough time of it, and they say, oh, well, I've seen this, or this done, please let me know. It's not that we've lacked any input, it's just at this point, it appears the suggestions that are being made are just being, I don't want to say poo-pooed, are just not being looked on favorably. Carolyn.
Is there any parallel between this and Northrop and what happened with Northrop in that neighborhood?
Wow. I think there is less, quote unquote, division amongst the residents on this street, because all of the residents are in agreement. There has not been one dissenter that said traffic has to slow down. We've got cut through traffic. We've got someone who's going to get hurt on this street because buses are flying down here, children are walking down the street, and people are going to the liquor store and walking back down our street with, bags of alcohol. So I think that's one factor that certainly separates the two issues. As far as the listening to the neighbors and hearing the one voice on this side, I think there's been some concern with that. I do.
And one other thing that we've been looking at in the Public Safety Committee, we have a moratorium on traffic calming, specifically speed bumps, mainly because we just don't have any money to put them in right now. What we're looking at doing, and one of the things we're going to be testing, is whether or not the neighborhoods their neighbors on a certain area would be interested in having speed bumps put in and assessed to the entire block. So, for example, you've got a street, neighborhood street that goes from cross Street 1 to cross Street 2, and you put in 3 speed bumps to slow down the traffic, and everybody in that area, that block, is going to enjoy the benefit from it, the cost of those three speed bumps would then be assessed to everybody that's on the block. So if everybody's interested in doing something like that, I'm just saying, if not everybody's gonna be interested in that. Those are some of the things we're looking at doing as well.
Part of the issue with that, it'll depend upon how many houses are on that block. My house is on a corner, and it faces one block that has several people on it. The other side, there are only 2 houses, and there are only 2 houses on the other side, neither one of which have an address on that street. But it's a street which people move through pretty fast. And the same thing down on Angie's block. If they're on that same street, there are only 4 houses, none of which have an address on that street, but that would affect, and that's.
Construction, they face a different way.
Well, and then again, that would be something that would have to be worked out with people, the neighbors who would enjoy the benefit of that particular new improvement to the street.
Claude and then Carolyn?
Number one, I'm not sure there always is a benefit to your speed bumps and to your traffic circles. I'm not convinced that they've done what they should have done. The question that you asked at the last regular Monday meeting about where's the proof, let's again say where's the proof, and I don't know that you could ever find the proof for this sort of thing. Secondly, and I'll bring this in right now, this whole thing about assessing people who live on the street just because they live on that street. To me, this is general city fund, and it should not be, there should not be assessments. That's my personal opinion. Goes also to the question of curb and gutter up on, is it Raymond Street or something, some name similar to that?
Yep.
Apparently, there's one person who wants this, who owns most of that property, and other people are gonna suffer because this is what he wants. Well, I'm saying baloney if I got my facts right. Again, I don't know why, as a citizen, I should pay to have a road fixed in front of my house because everybody uses it. Everybody uses the sidewalk in front of my house, so they're certainly able to use the sidewalk. I can't block it off and say, no, you can't come here. I'm supposed to keep it clear of ice and snow and all that good stuff. Come on, this is, to my mind, false government.
Well,
Taxation without
just in response to the assessing folks on a street for improvements such as speed bumps, if there's no money in the coffer for the city to be able to do it, if you want it, then the option is, we'll help you get there by setting the contract up, but you would have to pay for it. Very similarly to in the first ward on, the street just went out of my, LaSalle Boulevard. We put in the antique lighting. We took the Cobra lights down and put in the little ones on the little pedestals. Well, the city didn't have the money to do that. The neighbors really wanted it, so 99% of them all signed a petition agreeing to pay for it as an assessment on their properties for the entire street, because they all were going to enjoy the benefit of it, and that's how it went in. And it's over, it's not a one-year assessment, it's over a number of years. So they all wanted it, that we didn't have the money to do it, so they all agreed to pitch in and get something like that done. So this would be something similar to that. Not that it would be anybody's responsibility to do it, but if you want it and we can't afford it right now, if you wanted ahead of schedule, of the tax capabilities, the ability to capture the taxes and put it in, that's one option. Not that it has to be done that way. Now, as far as Raymond Street, I don't know anything about that. That's up in the 4th Ward, and Tim Kaltenbach has said a couple of things about it, but I don't know enough about it to say.
And part of today's discussion was to make sure that we're, filling folks in on what's going on Starlight and Waverly. We will continue to have discussions more broadly on what is going on citywide, but we want to make sure that